Tuesday night, January 3rd, 2023. That's going to take some time to get used to saying. Happy New Year to the Tan and J-Man Show Nation. Tanner Lee and Josh the J-Man back for yet another year of the podcast.
Yeah, this is year 7.
It's hard to believe.
Crazy.
Real hard to believe.
Crazy.
But it's going to take me a while to get used to saying 2023. I already wrote 2022 down for something today and then realized it too late. But
it usually takes me a couple months. It's pretty pathetic. Yeah. There was one time I remember doing it in June. Still.
That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. At least with this one, if you don't complete the 2 entirely, you can turn it into a 3. So
that's right.
It's a little different than next year. A 3 to a 4 would be a little more difficult.
Yes. A J-Man specialty is screwing something up when he's writing and having to add an extra loop or an extra line.
Where's the whiteout? Where's the whiteout?
I have some birdie bogey for you here.
Yes. Time to kick it off with a birdie.
Yes, we are back to even. You know, we had, I was thinking this, we had each had 26 opportunities to answer 52 weeks. Of course, you missed at least 2 weeks last year.
Yeah.
I don't know if I missed a week last year. Anyway, about 26 opportunities and finishing 6 over actually isn't that bad in the grand scheme of things. Could have been worse.
We were doing really bad for a while, so we kind of got hot at the end. So.
Or we made the questions easier.
That could be.
Brock Birdie recorded his 5th straight game with multiple touchdown passes, which is tied for second longest streak by a rookie quarterback since the 1970 merger. Can you name the only quarterback that has the longer streak?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Of multiple touchdown passes to start a career?
That's a good one. Yeah. It's a really good one.
Birdie Bogey is now brought to you by Arlington Public House. Arlington Public House has upscale cuisine and cocktails with a casual atmosphere located 703 Main Street, Rochester, Indiana. Their phone number is 574-223-7101. They will be closed until when, did you say? Was it January 15th?
That sounds right. I think the next 2
For
weeks.
the holidays.
Yeah, the next 2 weeks.
So, Tan the man and I, before we got significant others, we frequented that place quite a bit.
Yeah, I still go there when I'm back in Rochester quite a bit. It's a really good place to get dinner at. I mean, if you want a good steak, if you want good seafood, if you want good drinks, and they always have a constant rotating menu too, always adding new things, switching up their menu. So really good place to eat in downtown Rochester if you're looking to have a night out on the town.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Get your veggies one last time.
One last time, had to throw that in there, and you can get good veggies there. So
end of an era.
Yes, end of an era. So, well, we got a lot to talk about tonight. Of course, a lot of our normal segments, but I wanted to start off the show with really what the sports world's talking about today, and that's Damar Hamlin, defensive back for the Buffalo Bills, that just on what looked like a routine tackle on a play to T. Higgins, stands up, just collapses. Unbelievably scary incident. They had to give him CPR on the field for at least 8 minutes, if not 10 minutes. I've seen conflicting reports on the time of that. Ambulance came out on the field, took him to the near University of Cincinnati Hospital, where he was listed, last I knew, in critical condition. Man, it just unlike anything I've ever seen in a sporting event.
Yeah, I've never seen anything like it. You know, I saw the play, but I turned it before he collapsed back down on the field. I actually turned to the Purdue game. I'm sure you're going to talk about that later. But and then I turned back maybe 10 or 15 minutes later, and the ambulance is out on the field, and no time had been off the clock. So I'm like, what in the world happened? And then, of course, I saw the replay of it. It looked like a fairly innocent hit. Obviously hit him just right, and who knows if there's not underlying issues with that. But the reaction of his teammates and the Bengals players said it all. I mean, they were crying. Ridiculously, unbelievably scary situation there. It sounds like his vitals are back to normal. Maybe not normal, but they're good now. He's still heavily sedated, and we don't know how it's going to be once they kind of bring him out of the coma they put him in. But again, unbelievably scary scenario. Could have happened to anyone. I think that was on a lot of the players' minds, is like, we absolutely cannot continue. I mean, it was very evident they couldn't continue last night, and I'm not sure what they're going to do going forward.
And it was one of those situations where, we've seen guys unfortunately break their necks. I don't know if I've ever seen anybody get paralyzed. I know people have in NFL history, and of course in the history of the sport of football, but I don't know if I've ever seen a game where somebody got actually paralyzed. But I can count many guys who have broke their necks. We've seen head injuries, which unfortunately we've become accustomed to, serious head injuries and people getting stretchered out and stuff. But yeah, nothing like this, nothing. And it just shows you, yes, in my opinion, athletes do get overpaid, but especially pertaining to football players, we need to remember what these guys are putting their bodies through.
Right.
What they're risking every time they step on the field, because this is a man's sport. This is a combat sport. It's a violent sport. And they're just trying to do what they love. I mean, this was his dream. Pittsburgh kid who grew up in Pittsburgh, of course, went to the University of Pittsburgh. Then he's in his second year with the Buffalo Bills. He's a starter. He was a 6th-round pick. Good guy from everything I've heard, and really good kid. Just hope he comes out of this okay. I mean, put football aside, I don't really care. I mean, if he's able to play the game again in a safe manner, fantastic. But not even football related, speaking. Just hope he can come back and live a good life.
Doing CPR for 8 minutes, that's a long time.
Yes.
And obviously we don't want to speculate and have no idea what the prognosis is. And I'm sure the doctors don't even know right now.
Right.
But it's just I've never seen CPR being administered on the field.
No.
Ever, or even heard about it off the field. Of course, I remember the Kevin Everett. Was that his name? Kevin Everett? Was it Everett? Back for the Bills, actually, in the 2007, 2008. He was a tight end. He was on the kickoff team, and he got almost he was pretty much paralyzed at that point. He can't walk a little bit. That Eric LeGrand for Rutgers is the first guy.
That's right. Kind
of pops into my mind, who's wheelchair bound now. After a nasty hit when he was at Rutgers. But nothing like this. Shocked the sports world to its core, to the point only one guy was really thinking about football, and his name was Skip Bayless. Which we can go hours and hours.
I'd rather not even talk about him, to be honest.
Bayless. But yeah, no one's thinking about football. Obviously, the games have to be played eventually, and Roger Goodell's in a bad spot with this as well, and really the only focus should be on Damar Hamlin.
Yeah, no, 100%. People are now wondering what's the NFL going to do next, because they came out and said the game between the Bills and Bengals is not going to be played this week. I'm trying not to look at the football side of things, but when we are a sports podcast, we talk a lot about the NFL, and when you look at the playoff picture, it's a pretty big game.
Huge.
I feel like they can't just not do something.
I think, honestly, my dad gave me this idea, and I think you could easily do it. You maybe push back this week to next week and have the Bengals and Bills play this week. Then the rest of the teams play the next week. And then you just don't play the Pro Bowl. It's pretty easy.
Yeah.
No one cares about the Pro Bowl. Players don't care about the Pro Bowl. It's more about just getting into the game, having Pro Bowler next to your name than it is actually playing in the thing. So I don't know what Roger's going to do, but I think that is the most logical. Because again, this game would be huge. I mean, the Bills are fighting for the 1 seed. It has implications of whether they play their starters on Sunday, which could impact the Patriots, Dolphins, Steelers. So it feels like the game has to be played. But at this point, I don't think really anyone even cares about that at that point.
No. And I like what you brought up about the Pro Bowl. Unfortunately, I just don't think they'll do that. So
they should do it.
They should, but I don't think they will, especially with all the changes they've put into that. And because I don't think
or just move it to after the Super Bowl.
Yeah, like it used to be. because I don't think you can push back the playoffs with just, I don't know, TV scheduling and everything, especially the Super Bowl. I mean, you can't push the Super Bowl back.
No, which they wouldn't have to.
Right. In your scenario, they wouldn't.
But at the same time, the NFL is king, and so the TV provider's like, whatever you guys want, we don't care. Do what you have to do because we'll broadcast it regardless. There's billions of dollars out there with the TV, so they'll do whatever they have to do to make the NFL happy. The NFL will do everything they have to do to make sure the integrity of the games and scheduling is not impacted. Roger Goodell's not in an enviable spot right now, as far as that goes.
No, I wouldn't want to have the job to make the call of what to do next. And I saw a lot of backlash last night on the duration it took to call the game. We don't know everything that was being discussed behind the scenes. The NFL was probably not knowing the NFL, maybe they had called the game, but they were waiting to announce it to figure out what's next before they even did that. And then they couldn't figure that out. And they're like, okay, we're going to call the game, even though the whole 5-minute thing was very odd. That was a bad look.
Watching your teammate have CPR given to him. All right, got 5 minutes, warm up, kick this thing back off. No.
Right. It's different if he wasn't given CPR, taken off on an ambulance. If it was just another, unfortunately, head injury or neck injury or something, play on. But
even like going back to other injuries, like when Tua had his thing and his hands went up in the air, it was pretty somber there for a while, and it was hard for the players to get back into the thing, and it was very evident.
Same stadium
that they were, same stadium that both teams were kind of struggling with it, and that was a bad situation, but not even remotely close to what this was.
No, so we'll see what they do next. It'll be interesting to follow this week. Well, yeah, just unbelievably scary incidents. I really think it's going to be one of those things we look back years to come, and we're going to remember where we were, what we were doing. It's one of those instances in our lifetime, especially revolving around sports, because I feel like the whole world stopped watching whatever they were watching and flipped it over to either ABC, ESPN, or ESPN2.
Yeah. Yep.
Because I just got done watching the Purdue Rutgers game and had some text messages like, wow, I can't believe what's going on in Cincinnati. I'm like, what are you talking about? I checked my phone to score. I'm like, 7-3. I was expecting to see like a crazy score or something. And 7-3. I'm like, what? And then I flipped it over. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, he had just been taken out on the ambulance at that point. So, yeah. It's wild stuff. Wild stuff. But, well, since we're on the NFL topic, let's just go right in and talking about the NFL. We got 1 week remaining. Week 18 is this week, 17 weeks in the books. Who were your 3 winners and 3 losers for week 17?
3 winners, 3 losers. My first winner, New York Giants, going to the playoffs.
I got them too. Yep.
First time since 2016 to do it. I still don't think they're very good. But you know what? All that matters is they got in and they did it. So.
Well, and I think, at least for the time being, for next year, maybe 2, Daniel Jones is going to be their quarterback. I think they figured that out.
I'm not sure if that's a great thing, but we will find out. I will say Brian Dable has taken him to a different level than I think most people thought.
Great hire. Yep.
There, so.
Yep, they're one of my winners as well. Also, the Green Bay Packers, a team I've ripped on all year, but here they are getting hot. And they not only beat the Vikings, they shellacked them on their home turf the other night. It wasn't even close.
They are a team that no one wants to play come postseason. No one's going to want to play Brady either. There's still that air around them,
right?
When it comes to those type of players, and I definitely don't want to play Aaron Rodgers right now. It's going to end up being a Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers NFC Championship game, and it's just going to be the worst.
Well, now if Seattle wins, they're in, right?
I think if Green Bay wins, they're in regard. Well, Seattle might get in, but Green Bay's in regardless if they win.
Are they? Okay.
Pretty sure.
Because I knew if Seattle won, but Detroit won, it didn't really matter for Detroit. That's why it was kind of confusing why they flexed the Green Bay-Detroit game in the Sunday night. But I think it was more the Aaron Rodgers, like you said, win and in scenario that trumped everything.
NFC scenarios here. I'll bring them up just to make sure I'm
because they're confusing.
Packers clinch the 7 seed with a win.
Okay.
Lions need a win at Green Bay and a Seahawks loss.
They need their old quarterback.
Yeah.
No, their quarterback's old team to win.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
Seahawks clinch with win versus Rams and a Packers loss or tie versus the Lions.
Okay. All right. That makes sense.
So it's pretty straightforward. If Packers win, they're in. That's all that matters as far as that goes.
Yep.
So
who's your were the Packers one of your winners then or no?
No, the Detroit Lions actually were to put themselves back into a spot after getting whooped by Carolina to go and take it to the Chicago Bears. Again, Justin Fields can run, but he was horrendous passing the ball. And I've never seen a fan base make more excuses for the quarterback than the Bears do for Justin Fields.
I'm going to get
ridiculed. He's an electric football player, but to just make every excuse in the book when he was just horrendous passing the ball against a bad defense too.
I'm going to get ridiculed for this comment I'm about to make, but I'm here for it. It's my first one of 2023, first of many, I'm sure. I think he's a more electric Tim Tebow.
That's probably fair. He throws
except
better
Tebow won.
Yeah, except Tebow won.
He does throw better than Tim, but
he throws. But he's a poor man's Lamar Jackson.
Okay, that's fair. That's probably better than what I said.
He's a better runner than Lamar and Mike Vick, in my opinion.
He's a really good runner, but how long could that be sustained?
Yeah, and his offensive line's trash. His receiving core is one of the worst in NFL history. So get him some weapons. I mean, they've traded a second-round pick for Chase Claypool. I think most people, besides Bears fans, thought that was completely stupid to do that because Claypool hasn't done anything except be a famous TikTok dancer in his career. And they gave up a second-round pick for him.
Yeah. No, you're right. They need a lot of help. I don't know if they'll get it. So.
Yeah.
But they're in a good position to trade back to a quarterback hungry team.
Yes.
So.
Yes, they are.
My third winner is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, just simply because somebody had to win that division, the NFC South, and they did it. And like you kind of were saying, now Brady's in the playoffs. I mean, they could potentially get hot. Yeah. They still have a scary roster. They just haven't figured it out for some reason, but they got done when they needed to.
Yeah, all that division needed to have is just one team be okay. Just no team stepped up. Saints were garbage. Panthers couldn't do it. Falcons are one of the worst teams in the NFL. And so Brady just got to walk in. It was not easy for him. It should have been easy, but he gets to walk in not even having a good team.
Nope.
It's kind of pathetic. My last winners, Jacksonville Jaguars. They stay hot. I know they beat a terrible Houston Texans team, but now they're in a winner-take-all for the AFC South Saturday night against the Joshua Dobbs led Tennessee Titans. I think the Jags get her done.
It's just crazy. I go back to October when the Broncos beat them in London. The Jags were toast.
Yeah.
And then it turned their season around.
Yeah.
So.
And Jags shouldn't have even lost that game. They
shouldn't have. They were up 10-0, and then Lawrence threw a pick in the end zone, and it changed the whole game.
Yeah.
That was the last pick he had thrown until last week.
Yeah, Lawrence has been on a heater, which is scary for the AFC.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
If he turns into the star, you add him in there with Allen and Burrow and Mahomes, and everyone else is left in the dust.
Herbert, I'll throw Herbert.
You can throw Herbert in there as well.
Yeah. No, that's a good one. Yeah, Jags have been a fun story. Mm-hmm. 3 losers.
Carolina Panthers are one of them. They were up 14-0 against Tampa Bay, and they ended up choking away. Panthers controlled their own destiny to get there. And, of course, going in to Tampa Bay, Tom Brady doesn't lose home games very often. But they had a chance to do it, and they just kind of folded in the second half.
Yeah, that's a good one. I meant to put them down, and I didn't. I chose 3 others. But, yeah, the Panthers are a good one. I put the Minnesota Vikings. I mean, I know they're going to make the playoffs, but they're just starting to play some bad football.
Yeah, and point differential doesn't tell the whole story, of course, because you got to win close games, but and they've done it. But they're a negative point differential. This is a team in any normal year they'd be sitting there at 7-9, 6-10 right now. I mean, they're not that good. I've been saying it all year too, and they've just found ways to win.
You have.
Washington Commanders.
They're one of mine. Yep.
Yes. Ron Rivera didn't know that they could be eliminated from playoff contention, so he stupidly started Carson Wentz, who Carson Wentz is a quarterback bad enough to get you fired, and he's done it to coaches in the past. He just hasn't been the same since his knee injury. Threw some bad interceptions. Fans are chanting for Heineke to come in, and I don't know why they didn't start Heineke to begin with. But then Rivera had no idea that they could have been eliminated. So it was a really
I don't know
bad
if
look.
I believe that. I mean, you're a coach of an NFL team. How do you not know your playoff scenarios?
It seems dumb enough to think he wouldn't just say that as a joke or anything, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much longer Rivera's got left as a head coach.
Yeah, I really thought the whole NFC East was going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, at one
Which
point.
would have been something. But my third loser, I'm sorry, Josh, Miami Dolphins.
Oh, absolutely.
And I know they're playing with Teddy Bridgewater and then their third string, Skylar Thompson. Is that his name?
Yeah, he's awful.
But, most third stringers are not very good.
Yeah.
But, so, I mean, they hung in there, but they're just not doing what they were doing earlier this year when they were winning football games.
Up 14-7. They let Mac Jones go down, kick a field goal, whatever. You could just feel it coming, though. And the one thing Teddy couldn't do is turn the ball over, and he ends up throwing a pick six to give the Patriots the lead right after they kick the field goal. And then he gets hurt, and they had no shot with Skylar Thompson whatsoever. If they lose, because, I mean, Dolphins still have the best odds to get that 7 seed because New England has to play at Buffalo, and the Dolphins get the Jets at home. Somehow they still have the best odds. If the Dolphins were to lose to the Jets, it would be the worst collapse in the history of the Miami Dolphins.
Sure.
I mean, 8-3 they were the 1 seed.
Yeah, we had discussion if they were the best team in the NFL at one point.
Yeah. Tua played bad against San Francisco and LA, and they couldn't find a way to get it done against Buffalo. And then, of course, he gets concussed against the Packers, plays terrible in the second half. All they need to do is win one of these games, just one of them, and they would have clinched by now. But in typical Dolphins fashion, I'm so numb to it. Every single year it feels like this happens. Get 7-5, 8-4. All you have to do is win a couple and you're in, and they just don't. They just don't. They have such a complex with losing there. It's a culture thing.
I was gonna say it's built into the culture now.
Yes, many head coaches have come in, haven't been able to change it. Thought McDaniel was different. I think he is different in that aspect. The problem is Stephen Ross is the dumbest owner in the history of sports. McDaniel, if they lose, he's gonna get fired this year. They're gonna make another run at Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers. Sounds like Ross prefers Rodgers at this point. Their GM's gonna somehow hold on. He's been there 6 years. Been to the playoffs once, haven't won a playoff game. They're under 500. He's given up all these draft picks. They have no first-round pick. They banked on a now oft-injured quarterback. They banked on an oft-injured Bradley Chubb. Hasn't been productive.
You're welcome.
They've banked on an oft-injured Teron Armstead at left tackle. He's been good when he's healthy, but again, he's missed 4 games, I think, this year. Banked on an oft-injured Xavier Howard. Hasn't been effective. Been injured. He needs to be fired, but he's in Ross's ring of trust for whatever reason. So he'll hold on.
So let me understand this. So you're saying that you think if the Dolphins lose, they're going to fire their coach?
I think so.
Really?
Yeah. I think it would be the worst thing that franchise has ever done in the years of terrible things that franchise has done.
If they do that, I want Greg Penner to fly him into Denver and give him an interview because I'd
seriously.
Take him.
Yeah,
I'd take him.
If he were to serve, which it sounds, I just knowing Ross, I think he's going to fire him. It's shaky right now, though.
Yeah,
in the media, and they say if he does survive, their defensive coordinator will be canned, which he should be. Their special teams have been the worst I've ever seen in Miami this year. It's been awful. So he's probably gone. They have talent on defense, but they're playing with a bunch of guys they picked up off the street in the secondary because everyone's hurt, and they got hurt in like week 3. But they haven't been able to get a consistent pass rush with this great front four they have. It's just been awfully frustrating to watch. I do think they'll beat the Jets because I think the Jets are trash, regardless of who starts at quarterback for the Dolphins. Now, one benefit that if they were to move games and give everyone a bye this week, maybe Tua could play in that week 18. But again, that doesn't mean a whole lot right now. It's classic Miami Dolphins. They're actually not even one of my losers. The Baltimore Ravens are my last loser. I know Lamar's hurt, but they haven't looked good. Tyler Huntley's not a good backup quarterback. Not many backup quarterbacks are good, but he's looked pretty bad, and let Kenny Pickett drive the length of the field to win on Sunday night in Baltimore.
Kenny's had a couple clutch moments already in his young career.
He's starting. They have a decent chance to sneak in if they win against. I think they play Cleveland on Sunday.
They do.
New England loses to Buffalo. Dolphins loses to the Jets. Pittsburgh sneaks in once again. So
Mike Tomlin, man, the guy just wins.
He does.
Just wins. So. All right. Well, assuming the games do happen this weekend, let's go ahead and make our last round of picks for the year.
I did win Pick'em on.
Did you? I didn't even tally it up.
Yes, I did.
I know we both had quite a few points.
Yeah, both over 100. It was real close.
Yeah,
real close. Kansas City at Las Vegas.
Jarrett Stidham played really well for the Raiders, which surprised me. Almost led them to a win, but it was an overtime loss against the Niners. Vegas has nothing to play for. Kansas City has stuff to play for. Give me the Chiefs for 14.
Yeah, give me the Chiefs for 10. Stidham played well, but again, Raiders couldn't close her out.
Chiefs found a way to win another close game against the Broncos. The Broncos defense gives Mahomes some problems.
It does.
He has thrown 4 interceptions against them this year, and that he had 4 total in his 9 previous games against Denver.
Yeah.
So,
they've never beaten him, but it kind of reminds me of when Brady would play Miami. It seems like Dolphins defense would give him fits forever. And they'd end up beating him every once in a while. So yeah, that time's coming.
Yeah, maybe, hopefully.
Tennessee Titans at the Jacksonville Jags.
Yeah, I got the Jags for 13. Rolling with the hot hand, and Josh Dobbs can't get it done.
I have the Jags for 11. I don't see any way Tennessee wins there, especially if Derrick Henry doesn't play.
Oh, yeah.
Baltimore Ravens at Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, it's hard to predict the Bengals and the Bills games, not knowing what the mindset. A lot of players around the league, really, but especially those 2 teams that were involved in that game last night. But I'm thinking the Cincinnati Bengals at home for 8.
Give me Bengals for 15. I don't know if Lamar will play, but I don't think it matters. To be honest. Tampa Bay Bucks at the Atlanta Falcons.
I got the Bucks for 12.
I have the Bucks for 5. I don't think they can really improve their seeding. I don't know if Tom plays the whole game or not. What's the record? Are they 9-7 or 8-8?
The Bucks?
Yeah,
I think they're 8-8.
Are they? Well, maybe they want to play to not have a losing record for the first time in Tom's career. But
they are 8-8. Yep.
Yeah, that could be. Blaine Gabbert's their backup. I mean, honestly, he's probably okay enough to go into Atlanta and win.
I can't believe that guy's hung around this long.
Yeah. He wasn't a star, but
no.
I mean, you look at guys like Chase Daniels, been a backup for 13 years.
That's true.
He wasn't a high draft pick like Gabbert was, but
true.
New England Patriots at the Buffalo Bills.
I got the Bills for 9.
I have the Bills for 14. Don't know what kind of emotion they're going to have, but I think there's no way the Bills lose this one after what happened last night. That's just my feeling on the situation. How many did I say? How many put on? 14.
Mm-hmm.
Minnesota Vikings at the Chicago Bears.
I got the Vikings for 7. Bears are a bit awful, but the Vikings haven't been playing too hot themselves either lately. So
yeah, I could see Chicago winning this one and upsetting the Vikings. I don't know if the Vikings are still fighting for seeding or not. I don't think they have a shot at they might still have a shot at the 1. They'd have to have a lot happen.
I don't think they. I don't know. I don't know the scenarios off the top of my head. So.
Give me the Vikes for 9. Maybe the 2 worst teams in the NFL right now: the Houston Texans at the Indianapolis Colts.
I'm taking the Colts for 1, just because they're at home. I think Ellinger's quarterback. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. These 2 teams are both really bad. They tied week 1. Maybe they'll tie. Maybe they'll tie again. But Colts for 1 because I don't know why not.
Yeah. Matt Ryan is suiting up to be the backup. I don't know why. you've learned enough from Ellinger to know he's not anything. So why not just give Ryan another shot?
It's probably his last game ever starting, but
probably, yeah. Give me the Colts for 4. I think it'll be close though. New York Jets at the Miami Dolphins.
Got the Dolphins for 3.
I also have the Dolphins for 3. Sounds like Teddy broke his finger. Even if Skylar Thompson plays, I think the Dolphins get it done because Thompson was pretty good when he prepared all week as a starter going into Minnesota game. He looked really good, and then he busted his thumb in the second quarter. And Teddy had to come.
Wasn't he unbelievable in the preseason?
Unbelievable. He was literally preseason MVP.
Yeah.
Of the entire league, he was unbelievable. And it's tough for a backup to come in and win during a game. But if you get a whole week to prepare, things are a little different.
Right.
Miami for 3. Carolina at New Orleans.
I got New Orleans for 6, mainly because they're at home.
I have the Saints for 2. What a boring season for both of those teams. Carolina was kind of in it there for a while. But
yeah. Do you think they retain Wilkes?
I think so. It sounds like that is gaining steam anyway.
Yeah, there was a report out there that they've been in contact with Jim Harbaugh, which we'll talk about here in a bit. But
which that's one I'm surprised we haven't heard with Miami because
me too. I was going to ask you about
Ross
that. Yep, Michigan man
literally has a school of business there. So
yeah,
but does he want to steal him from his alma mater and take him for his franchise? I don't know. Cleveland Browns at the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I have the Steelers for 5.
I have the Steelers for 1. I don't know why I only put 1 on them. Chargers at Denver.
I actually have Denver for 2 because I'd be surprised if the Chargers are playing their starters.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that, and I have the Chargers for 13.
I mean, that's the only reason. I don't.
Well, they could jump.
Could they jump seeding?
I think they could jump Baltimore.
Could they? Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know. Honestly, the seeding thing, I couldn't care less. It's all about who's fighting for the 1 seed, if anything.
Yep. So.
But yeah. Giants at Philadelphia.
I got the Eagles for 10.
I have the Eagles for 12, assuming Jalen Hurts is back.
Yeah.
Minshew looked awful on Sunday.
Yeah, he did.
Arizona Cardinals at the San Francisco 49ers.
I got the 49ers for 16.
I, too, have the 49ers for 16. Yeah. David Blau didn't look that bad, though.
Yeah, good for him. I never thought he would – I didn't think he'd make the NFL, let alone not only start one game, which was on Thanksgiving a couple years ago, but now 2 games for 2 different teams. Pretty cool.
It seems like a smart move he got out of Detroit, too.
Yeah.
Because they wanted to bring him back, but he chose to go somewhere else.
He went to Minnesota.
Yeah.
And then now Arizona. So.
LA Rams at the Seattle Seahawks.
I got the Seahawks for 4.
I have the Seahawks for 6. Dallas Cowboys at the Washington Commanders.
Cowboys for 15.
I have the Cowboys for 8. Detroit Lions at the Green Bay Packers.
Packers for 11.
This will be the J-Man's Book It prediction of the week. Packers will win and make the playoffs. Unfortunately, they look dead in the water. I blame it on the Dolphins for not knocking them out. Give me the Packers for 7. J-Man's Book and Prediction of the Week brought to you by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance Agent Travis Watchering for life, home, auto, business, renters, workers, comp, and farm insurance. Contact Travis at 219-869-4561. His email is travis.watchering@infb.com.
Yes, and we are glad Travis is back on board as a sponsor of the J-Man's Prediction of the Week in 2023. He's been that for, oh, goodness, I don't know how many years now, but
almost the duration of the show.
It's been a while. It's been a long time, so we're glad to have his support.
Do you have any other NFL thoughts?
Well, I mean, I kind of want to. Well, I want to save some other thoughts for my bowl predictions.
Fair. I have On This Day pulled up, so you want to be educated.
I do.
On this day in 1920, the Boston Red Sox baseball club owner Harry Frazee announces agreement to sell slugger Babe Ruth to the New York Yankees for $125,000 in cash and a $350,000 loan. Start of the 84-year Curse of the Bambino.
Yeah, I think he wants that one back.
Yeah, $125,000 is a lot of money back then, but he would have made a lot more with Babe Ruth hitting 4th in his lineup.
You know, it was on this day. Oh, well, nope. I'll let you finish it because you might actually read it. Never mind.
On this day in 1971, was the first AFC Championship game played at Memorial Stadium in Baltimore, where the Baltimore Colts beat the Oakland Raiders 27-17.
So then that would have been Super Bowl III then after that?
Sure.
Maybe.
I honestly don't know. I thought Super Bowl III was in the was 69. I'm pretty sure Super Bowl III
okay. That was Colts Jets. Okay.
1973, a 12-man syndicate led by Michael Burke and George Steinbrenner III buys MLB's New York Yankees from CBS for $10 million.
That's what I was just going to say, so I'm glad I held off. So, yeah, I saw on Twitter today, $10 million.
I don't even want to do the math on return on investment, but they'd be up in the 5 billions at this point.
Ridiculous.
Maybe 10 billion at this point.
Ridiculous.
On this day in 1981, American golfer, your favorite, Johnny Miller, won the sport's first $1 million tournament when he beat Seve Ballesteros of Spain in a playoff in the inaugural $1 million World Challenge at Sun City, South Africa.
I'm sure he'd be the first one to tell you all about it, shot by shot, too. I think we got through 2022 barely mentioning him on the pod, and our first one of 2023 comes up. Yeah. That's just great.
Old Seve had a nice unibrow going on.
Seve had a heck of a career. He was a good one. He was
Anthony Davis before Anthony Davis was a thing. On this day in, we're in the 90s here. On this day in 1993, the comeback quarterback Frank Reich leads Buffalo Bills back from a 32-point deficit to defeat the Houston Oilers in overtime.
Yes, I remember watching that. When I was growing up, I think my dad subscribed the year he subscribed to Sports Illustrated must have been 93 because they sent him like a year in review VHS. I used to watch that all the time growing up, and that was in the NFL portion. So
interesting. 1994, Steve Young of the 49ers becomes the first quarterback to win 3 straight passing titles.
Man, we talk about the Colts a lot of times getting lucky going from Manning to Luck, or the Packers with Favre to Rodgers, but Niners were the first to do it, Montana to Young.
Yep. On this day in 2001, who won the third BCS national championship game?
01, that was Miami Hurricanes over in Nebraska.
Incorrect. Oklahoma beats Florida State 13-2. Is that an actual score? Who won in 2002?
So then that was Miami.
Yep, Miami beat Nebraska.
Then Ohio State beat Miami. Okay, I got my ears. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
On this day in 2007, high-profile Miami Dolphins NFL head coach Nick Saban resigns after agreeing to return to college football. The devil himself.
It would be interesting to see what he would have done in Miami if he stuck around a little longer.
It would have been interesting if he made the right quarterback decision.
No, that too.
That is going to do it for On This Day. We got other stuff to get to.
And that is the On This Day segment, which is brought to you by in 2023, like it was in 2022, Mooney Woodcrafts. Mooney Woodcrafts is a veteran-owned and operated woodcraft shop based out of North Carolina with Indiana grassroots. They provide 100% hand-cut custom designs that fit your needs, and their pieces make a great addition to any home, office, or man cave. You can see some of their recently completed projects at Mooney Woodcrafts on Instagram and Facebook, and let them know the Tan and J-Man Show sent you for 15% off your order. So let Thad know Tan and J-Man Show sent you. Get those orders in. You get 15% off.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, let's go ahead. Let's do some word association before we get into talking about too many other things. And we are in the year of 2023, the Jordan year, right?
Yeah.
So I went through and named some guys, some athletes who have wore the number 23 besides Michael Jordan.
I like it.
Starting with LeBron James.
Second greatest of all time, probably.
That's fair.
Maybe the greatest athlete to ever play any sport.
See that dunk he had last night?
No.
He had a reverse dunk last night.
38 years old.
I'm like, 38 years old should not be doing that.
Yeah.
He's
also one of the more unlikable superstars of our generation. For sure. Gonna say what he wants to say. Doesn't care who's around.
Nope. Beast mode.
Likes his Skittles.
Frank Gore.
Oh, man. The Hall of Famer. Good running back. Long time running back. Yeah, he had some good years with San Francisco.
Jimmy Butler.
Jimmy. Cool story. I mean, he was homeless growing up, goes to a junior college, goes to Marquette. It's literally a rags to riches sort of story, and now he's a star in the NBA.
Don Mattingly.
He could hit. Evansville's own. Great defensive first baseman, too. Terrible manager.
Was captain for the Yankees before Derek Jeter.
Yep. Some bad Yankees teams.
Yes. Ryan Sandberg.
Rhino, greatest second baseman in Cubs history, one of the best second basemen ever. Hall of Famer, Gold Glover, steal bases, hit homers.
Another one that his coaching career hasn't been that great.
Yeah. I don't think he has any chance now. Now he does cannabis commercials.
Does he?
Yeah.
Okay. Devin Hester.
Greatest returner ever. I will never forget him returning that kick in the Super Bowl. Peyton talks about it, how he he thought they were kicking away from him, so he didn't even really watch it. Then he hears the roar of the crowd, and what are you doing?
Yep. Yeah, he was unbelievable that year. So unbelievable his whole career. He was even good for the Falcons and even the Ravens a little bit. But yeah, he borderline Hall of Famer just by returning kicks.
He might get in as a specialist.
Yeah, I mean he was ridiculous. Mm-hmm. Anthony Davis.
Unibrow himself. I remember reading a story about him from his junior year of high school to his senior year. He grew 10 inches. He was 6'1", ended up 6'11", with point guard skills, went to Kentucky, won a national title. Had a great NBA career when he's healthy.
Yeah, when he's healthy. He's made it glass. Calipari's only title at Kentucky.
Yeah, and I don't think he's going to get one anytime soon either.
Zach Greinke.
Maybe the weirdest, most socially awkward professional athlete ever. But, man, he's a borderline Hall of Famer as well. He's been around since 2005.
Wow.
He's been around forever. Yeah. I don't know if he signed anywhere for this upcoming year or not.
Two more here. Blake Griffin.
One of the best, most fun dunkers of the past 15, 20 years or so.
That dunk contest in 2011 was stupid fun.
When he burst onto the scene, he was dunking over everyone. It was fun to watch.
And remember, he won Rookie of the Year because his actual rookie year in 2010, he broke his kneecap.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Draymond Green.
Top 3 least favorite Big Ten athletes ever. He's on his same old stuff in the NBA too. Turned into one of the best defenders in NBA history, and I think he's probably going to be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I can't stand you saying that, but I can't disagree with that.
It really is unbelievable.
He's really a winner, but
yeah. I guess you could say the same thing. Man, I remember watching Tom Brady at Michigan, and he was nothing.
I know. I know. Some guys just find the right fit in the pros, but I couldn't stand him when he wore green and white. If
he wouldn't ended up in Golden State, he'd be playing over in Europe.
You're right.
You're right.
It's finding the fit. It's kind of like what the Spurs used to do.
Absolutely.
Pop used to get some guys, and they were phenomenal.
Yep.
But that's going to do it for the Word Association segment, which is brought to you by, like it was in 2022, Proforma Print 2 Promo Group. If you're looking for a trustworthy, dependable resource for your next trade show, company picnic, or a sales meeting in 2023, Proforma Print 2 Promo Group has over 50 years combined experience in promotional products and commercial print. They strive for fast and efficient response to all your print needs. You need to look no further. Let them be your one-source print and promotional company today by giving Barbara Van Weinsberg a call at 574-210-3815.
I want to talk some bold predictions here.
Yes, sir.
We have 8 of them.
Yep. We have 23 in total, but we're going to split it up over three shows.
8 this week, 8 next week, and then 7.
Yep.
Next week. What's your first one?
My first one, and I was trying to go in order, like chronological order, and then it got out of hand, so it's going to be spread out all over the place. It's just whatever came to my mind when I was doing this. My first one, the state of Indiana will have at least 3 teams in the NCAA tournament.
Who do you think gets in?
Purdue, Indiana, and Indiana State as of this moment. Yes. But I would not be surprised. Watch out for Purdue Fort Wayne to win their conference tournament.
Rory McIlroy will win the Masters.
There we go.
Had to start with that one.
There we go. I love that. My number 2, Tom Brady will retire after the playoffs.
I could see that happening. Illinois will win the Big Ten West next year. New quarterback coming in, defense. I mean, they had all their defensive backs opt out and had to play a bunch of freshmen. They played great against one of the best passing offenses in the country yesterday. Could get their entire defensive line back, offensive line back, receiving core back. I think they'll be solid. Honestly, they'll probably win 7 or 8 games and probably be right there once again because I think the Big Ten West will be kind of down again.
It actually made me excited seeing the way Illinois defense was playing yesterday because hopefully that's a future like what Purdue's defense could be. So, my next one's college football related as well. Bryce Young will be the first quarterback selected in the 2023 NFL Draft.
I think that has a very high probability of happening. Although C.J. Stroud looked really good against Georgia, that could propel him up. No Big Ten teams will get past the Sweet 16 for the second year in a row.
I could see it. It's probably a pretty safe bet, actually.
Yeah.
Jim Harbaugh will be an NFL coach come week 1.
Book it.
I don't know where. He's got to have some options, but I think, he's close at Michigan, but I don't know if they can do it.
Yeah. I completely agree. This is Ohio State related. Ryan Day will be fired after losing to Michigan for the 3rd straight season.
I could see it.
Yeah.
I could see it. It's unbelievable that fan base is fed up with him already. They're so spoiled. The Masters will be won by someone from the Live Tour.
Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers will be a Miami Dolphin next year. Or next season, I should say.
Derek Carr. No.
I hate it all. I hate it all.
I think Derek Carr, he'll be somewhere else. I don't. Maybe Indy. I don't know. Maybe Washington. I don't know.
Indy's got to go complete teardown.
I would think so, but the quarterback I see mocked to them in a lot of mock drafts, I don't know if I'd want either. So
who is it?
Will Levis?
Yeah.
Kentucky?
He was awful this year.
I know. The Pro Scouts love him.
But good Lord.
The Colorado Avalanche will repeat as Stanley Cup champions, but right now they're the 7th seed, but they have been banged up, and now they're starting to get some guys healthy, so we'll see if they can make a run.
This is very bold here, but Live Golf will fold due to money issues. They're going to run out of money.
That is pretty bold. It could happen, though. We'll see. This will be John Calipari's last season at Kentucky.
Could absolutely see. I think the fans are getting fed up with it. He's not winning anymore like he used to. They're not scary like they used to be, recruiting wise or even on the court. Could absolutely see it. The NFL will finally hire full-time officials. Long time coming.
Long overdue.
Yes.
In my last one for part 1 of our 3-part 23 bowl prediction for 2023, Caleb Williams will repeat as the Heisman Trophy winner.
I like it. My last one here, this feels really bold. The Chicago Cubs will make the playoffs.
Whoa!
Mainly because there's a 7th playoff team. You look at the rest of the National League, the NL East, Braves, Mets, Phillies, going to be good. Nationals, trash. Gutter trash. Marlins have the pitching staff, but they got to start trading from that depth they have for some offense, so I'm going to categorize them as trash. Reds, trash. Pirates, trash. Rockies, trash. Diamondbacks, trash. Giants are going to be trash. So that, in my opinion, for all of those spots, you're going to have Braves, Phillies, Mets, Cardinals, Dodgers, Padres. So that's 6. Okay. Cubs, Brewers. I think Brewers will take a step back. They'll still be able to pitch. Their offense will be trash. Cubs, though, with some of the moves they've made, got significantly better defensively in center field, significantly better defensively at second base now that they're moving Nico to second. Pitching staff should be good. It's been good here the past couple years anyway. Bullpen should be good. As of right now, they're projected in that like 78 to 82 win sort of thing. So if you look on the high end of that, win a couple extra games, 85 wins, I think gets you in. So that's my logic behind saying the Cubs will make the playoffs. And usually I don't look at the Cubs through rose-colored glasses, but tonight's one of those rare times.
Yeah, who are you and what did you do with my co-host? But
I don't know. I think it's because all my other sports teams are starting to implode in on themselves. So.
You gave me a great T-shirt idea. Just the word "trash" with the trash can on it, because you said trash about a dozen times in that segment. And I need to clip that because one of those teams you call trash will end up surprising everybody.
There's always a surprise team, and maybe the Cubs will be that surprise team. But you look at the other teams, I just don't see it, and maybe that's why they're a surprise. The Marlins are the only team I could see being like a legit surprise. So
it'll be interesting to watch. But that was definitely a bold one. I did not see that coming. I figured the Cubs were going to be in there somewhere on your 23, but I didn't know if it'd be positive or negative. But I didn't see that one. So yeah. Well, we got about 9 minutes left. College hoops. Big Ten hoops. I got that feeling that's too well known to me over the years, is that numbness. Last night after another close loss of a clutch shot and losing to Rutgers for the 5th time out of the last 6 meetings.
The last person you want to see walk through that door becoming number one if you're Purdue is Steve Pikiell.
It used to be Geo Baker, now it's Steve Pikiell.
Yeah. I literally forgot Purdue was playing. Then I checked the score and it was a tie game with a minute and a half left or something.
Yeah.
Fletcher, is it Fletcher or Foster?
Yeah, Fletcher. Yep.
Fletcher hits that big three to take the lead, and then they come down. One of their transfer pickups.
Spencer,
Cam Spencer, is that his name?
Yeah, McCauley was phenomenal the last 8 minutes or so, and I understand Ethan Morton made a mistake of overplaying and sliding down to help Brainsmith with McCauley, because McCauley was scoring on that back down, and he was scoring by missing the shots, then jumping up and tipping them in usually, or coming down and going back up with it. So he most likely was going to score again, which would have been fine because. Get it to overtime, Purdue was going to win because Rutgers was in big foul trouble. A lot of the guys had 3, if not 4 fouls. But the one thing I told my fiance is right after Purdue made that Painter took timeout, which I was fine with. A lot of people are ripping him today, but I was fine with that, because, everybody else saying, well, he shouldn't have taken a timeout because Rutgers didn't have any timeouts. That gave him time to, set up a play. I get that, but it also gave Matt time to set up a defense and then try to set up a play if Rutgers scored, even though he had another timeout to use, and he ended up using it anyways. Point being, I said we cannot give up a 3-point look. Give him a 2, can't give up a 3. That's what happened. He made a heck of a ball fake, heck of a shot.
It was a decent contest by name.
Yeah, it was. It was. And Purdue got a good look at the end, just didn't make it. And I was afraid they were going to drop one this week out of the 3 games, but I didn't think it would be that one. Now I'm really nervous because I'm like, oh, man, if they drop another one or even, God forbid, 2 more in a row here this week, they could really go on a little skid. But it'll be interesting to see what they're made of come Thursday night in Columbus.
Yeah. Columbus. Ohio State coming off a shellacking of Northwestern and Northwestern too. They look pretty good doing it.
And I will give it up to the Mackey crowd. No students there, but they said the decibel level was the 2nd highest in Mackey Arena history.
Wow, that's interesting.
Good for the folks getting on their feet, because first half Purdue played bad. Purdue was bad, down 12.5. So, but they climbed back into it.
I wish it was the same in Champaign when students are not there, because the decibel level is about the same as people praying in church when Illinois playing at home.
Oh, it was for a while for Purdue, but then when Purdue got into it, they seemed like the last 8 minutes they were on their feet constantly, and just darn things that bit them in the butt last year: untimely turnovers and free throws.
Yeah, they haven't really turned the ball over that much.
No, they were last
15,
night.
I think last night.
Rutgers defense gets after you.
Yeah, they're tough. Steve Pikiell's a heck of a ball coach.
They're physical. They're going to punch in the mouth.
Rutgers was terrible before he took over. He's turned them into a good basketball program. Good for him.
They're legitimately good. They belong in the Big Ten for basketball. And Purdue will not see them again unless it's in the Big Ten tournament. They don't have a rematch at Jersey Mike's, which I'm okay with, even though I'd like a chance at them again, but I hate playing there.
I don't know if you want to play at the Rack.
Yeah.
Always the Rack.
Jersey Mike's.
No. Big Ten play fully underway. Nebraska at Michigan State tonight. Michigan State's already doubling up Nebraska. 26.
I figured Nebraska would cover the 7-point spread, but maybe not.
Give me Michigan State. Then Minnesota at Wisconsin.
Yeah,
Wisconsin 12.5-point favorites. They cover. Penn State at Michigan.
I want to take Penn State, but I'm taking Michigan.
I do too, but I think I'm going to take Michigan. If they win, they're 3-0 in the Big Ten after all that crap, losing to Central Michigan. Illinois traveling to Northwestern.
Illinois win them. Illinois get them.
Illinois is favored, which is shocking because the way they did look a lot better. Again, they played Bethune-Cookman, so you got to take it with a grain of salt, but their energy level was so much better, and hopefully they can match that at Northwestern. Give me Northwestern, though. Road game.
Oh, come on.
You thought I was doing the same thing when I picked against them when they're playing Missouri, but I've been watching them every game.
Yeah.
And I just don't see them winning on the road for whatever reason. Give me Northwestern. Thursday night, we have Maryland at Rutgers.
Rutgers.
Give me Rutgers. I don't know if Maryland makes the NCAA tournament. That's my thoughts on it. Number 1, Purdue at Ohio State.
Yeah, the number 1 ranking's falling off no matter what happens the rest of the week. But give me Purdue in a bounce back. I think it's a close one, though.
Nobody has size that can match up with Zach Edey, of course.
He got in foul trouble early last night, so that was another key to the game.
Give me Ohio State at home. I think their guard play will be a little better. First, I mean, they had a road game at Nebraska, but Nebraska's tough to play. I guess Ohio State's probably not as tough to play at Nebraska. So, but give me Ohio State. Indiana at Iowa, reeling Iowa.
I think Iowa gets it done. They have IU's number up there.
I just actually got notification. Patrick McCaffrey is taking a leave of absence because he has pretty severe anxiety. So he's taking a leave of absence. They'll be without him. Iowa's looked bad. Give me Indiana on the road. Friday night, do we have any? There are no games Friday night. Saturday, we have Nebraska at Minnesota.
Nebraska.
Oh man, both teams are bad. Give me Nebraska though on the road. Wisconsin at Illinois, 12:30, ESPN2.
I think Illinois. I think it's a good week for you this week.
I hope so. They need it. Give me Illinois at home. I think they split this week. It'll probably be the opposite of what I think. But Michigan at Michigan State.
Michigan State.
Give me Michigan State as well. Then Sunday we have.
That sucks. They're playing that game without students.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Seriously.
Wow.
Yeah. It's usually later.
Yeah, come on, Big Ten. That's messed up.
Northwestern at Indiana.
IU.
Give me IU. Iowa at Rutgers.
Rutgers.
Give me Rutgers. Ohio State at Maryland.
Ohio State.
Give me Maryland in that one. Purdue at Penn State.
It's at the plethora.
Plestra.
Whatever. Yeah. Yeah. give me Penn State. I was ready to pick them all week. I thought Purdue would go 2-1 and lose at Penn State. So I'm scared to death of the rest of the week, Josh.
Yeah. Penn State bombs away from 3. If they're
hitting,
it's they're a coach's nightmare to play against because they shoot so many threes.
Yeah.
But they can be off as well, and Purdue plays good defense. Give me Purdue in that one. Any other college basketball? I think I pretty much covered it.
I don't think so. I haven't watched a ton outside the Big Ten yet this year. So
I haven't either. And honestly, because Illinois has not been playing well lately, I have not really watched Big Ten basketball.
It's funny how that happens, isn't it?
I don't like seeing the standings right now. Birdie Bogey, Brock Purdy recorded his 5th straight game with multiple touchdown passes, which is tied for the second longest streak by a rookie quarterback since 1970 merger. Who is the quarterback that has the longest streak?
I have a couple names that come to mind. I don't think this guy's right, but I'm going to kick myself if I don't go with him. Andrew Luck.
Incorrect. Justin Herbert.
He wasn't in. Darn it, he wasn't even in my mind. So
I wouldn't have guessed him either.
I was thinking Roethlisberger because he had a good rookie year.
Yeah, Big Ben had a great rookie year.
Well, shoot. Start off with a bogey. Son of a gun.
Starting off with picking up right where you left off. Actually, you've been pretty hot lately.
Oh, boy.
Thanks for watching the Tan and J-Man Show live on the ISC Sports Network. We will be back at it regularly scheduled time, regularly scheduled day, Monday next week. Have a fantastic week, everybody.